Welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Hi guys.
And tonight we'll be reviewing the Canterville Ghost.
Yeah.
That was released in 1996.
Now this is a fancy film, so it's right up our alley, isn't it, Sarah?
Exactly so.
And
it's based off a similar titled novel that was made by dear old Oscar Wilde.
Yeah, back in 1887. Now, can I have a bit of a quick chat now?
Before we get to that,
okay.
I took the liberty of reading the actual book itself just this week. So I have a good idea of how much they may have used for this
and how close
TV
are
movie.
we?
I would say, apart from
modernising
it a little bit, there's no much difference between the two.
Okay, that's going to get on to what I want to talk about. Okay.
Yes.
Now, are you finished for a moment?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is not the first making of the Canterville Ghost. Back in 1944, there was a version of it made starring Charles Lawton as the ghost, and Robert Young and Margaret O'Brien were in it. And that was a war propaganda type movie.
Yeah.
It was nothing like the story.
Yeah, trust me.
However, it was a good movie in its own right. Okay, so I'm not going to bag the movie. Okay, but if you're gonna go for something similar to the book that Oscar Wilde wrote, well, you're well suited to miss that first movie with Charles Lawton in it. But if you want to watch a good movie, okay, fine. Now, there's also another one in 1974 with David Niven in it. He played the ghost, obviously. That's why I mentioned David. I don't know how good it was. I can't find too much information on it or any reviews. So, and there's a new one I just found out about, 2017.
Ooh.
Now, Freddie Highmore has a role in it, but he's not the ghost. But Stephen Fry is the ghost, and it says voice of the ghost. You don't even see the ghost.
No, that's a shame.
And there's not even the mention of any of the family. It mentions a Grim Reaper and a ghost catcher. So I have a funny feeling it's nothing like the book.
Yeah.
So, anyway, as I'm saying, so this is the closest to Oscar Wilde's dream of having his book put to pictures.
Yes, exactly so. And another thing I should mention, guys, is that from one of the main actors who plays the ghost for this one we're doing, is got Patrick Stewart, or shall I say Sir Patrick Stewart?
Sir?
Well, he's a sir.
He's a sir now, is he? Hey, by the way, Patrick Stewart is in it. He plays a ghost, obviously.
Yes,
he speaks so well. He got that Shakespearean sort of voice which suits a period that's supposed to be a ghost that's 300 years old. So, but Patrick Stewart's also one of the producers. Actually, the main producer, I believe. So he produced it along with Malcolm Christopher and Robert Benedetti.
That's nice of him.
And was directed by Sidney McCartney. Now, I don't know whether Sidney McCartney's related to Paul McCartney, but you never know your luck.
You never know your luck. True.
But I'll just go through the cast before you start telling the story.
Yeah. Patrick
Stewart, obviously, pride of place as the ghost. Neve Campbell, Virginia, or Ginny Otis.
You may know her from Scream, the Scream franchise.
Yeah, she was the lead girl.
She plays Sydney and all that. The final girl.
I won't go through all the other people. I'm not really worried about them too much. However, I do believe Patrick Stewart and Neve Campbell got some awards for this.
Great.
For their acting performances, and this TV movie got awards as well. So it got Emmys and different things. So it's a good production. Anyway, do I pass over to you now?
I guess so, because there isn't much trivia to talk about it.
No, like telling movies that there's so much you can do and so much you can't do with them, but there's no box office information and reviews are skimpy, but we think it's a good movie.
Yes. So carry on. At the beginning, it starts off with Virginia and her mum and her two horrible brothers who are in their preteen stage, the difficult age I call them. Anyway, they're coming on a train to stay with their dad, who's living in a castle.
Well, it's not so much that. No, Dad's got a contract to do some work in England. And part of it, he's got accommodation lined up in the castle.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. So he's brought his family into the castle there, where he's going to be working there for so many months or whatever. Yeah.
Anyway, he's a realist, meaning he doesn't believe in ghosts or supernatural or you name it.
Yeah, if you can't see it, touch it, feel it, it doesn't exist. One of those type.
Yeah.
He would not be very good in a haunted house, would he? Nah.
No. So anyway, Virginia is less than thrilled being there. She'd rather be home, hanging out with her best friends, and doing what ordinary teenagers would do.
Yeah.
But she soon warms up to the idea of being in this castle, and she even meets a duke who's actually named Francis, and he's the Duke of
Cheshire.
Cheshire, and he's a young one, and he's really good looking.
Well, that's Daniel Betts. I might as well mention him because he's a love interest.
Yeah, he plays an interesting part in this.
Well,
and in the book, he plays an interesting part in that too.
Yeah.
So, moving on, they settle in, they get to know the staff, the lord of the manor, who doesn't visit often because he and his family are afraid of the ghost.
Well, they moved out. They rent the place out.
Yeah, they're kind of staying in the city in England somewhere.
Oh, in London or somewhere.
London, I think.
Or wherever it's close, yeah.
Yeah, so they're staying there, and of course things are... They first feel normal, but then later that night some weird stuff starts occurring, and the father automatically blames his daughter for causing all these disturbances.
Because he thinks she's not happy there, and she said she didn't want to stay there and want to go home, and she thinks she's doing it.
Yeah, because he thinks that she's pulling pranks and stuff, even though she doesn't seem the prank type.
Nah, just a moody teenager type.
Anyway, he just blames her, and at one point he wanted to send her back to America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then she meets a guy next door, this
she starts
Francis, Duke of Cheshire, and Cheshire, whatever.
And started growing feelings for him, and the thought of leaving would be a bit of a pain in the rear.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, the old juices are flowing here. Yeah.
Oh yes, quite right. So anyway, she does eventually meet the ghost a couple times, and a couple times he tries to scare them away, but failed in the attempts.
He's not a very good scarer away. Well, not this family anyway.
Yeah, I'll take a moment to explain about the ghost. See, the ghost, he was Sir Simon, I should say.
Sir Simon the ghost.
See, he got into big trouble with his wife, whom he thought was having an affair.
He was accused of killing his wife, but I think she commit suicide or something.
No, she kind of committed suicide. But
of course he accused her of having an affair and everything.
Yeah, as it turns out.
So he was responsible for her death.
As it turns out, he was rudely deceived because his best mate made a pass at his wife and therefore drew the wrong conclusion.
Yeah.
And therefore, her brothers walled him up inside the castle so he can slowly die.
Yeah, to mourn or over his killing of his wife during the day and roam the halls at night scaring people. What a good life.
Oh, remember when we were in that wax museum, Mike?
We went to a wax museum the other day.
They showed
really
us how people would have been walled up and tortured, by putting them in a sack and placing them behind, a wall.
Bung in a sack. They couldn't sort of wiggle out. And
while
the concrete's outting,
Yeah, and slowly die in that way.
Yeah, not a good way to go. I mean, you can't go to the toilet. Can't get a drink of water.
I think that's the point. They slowly starve to death or something.
Well, that's it. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. Eventually, Simon and Virginia come up with a plan to try to convince her father to believe in him. But
So if Daddy starts to believe in ghosts,
he'll see him.
Actually, he sees him when he does believe he's a ghost.
Yeah.
That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, they put together a Hamlet production.
Yeah, Shakespeare, Hamlet, Prince of Denmark, that sort of thing.
Where it just consists of Virginia and the Simon the Ghost.
Yeah, going through the lines. Yeah.
They go through the lines, but of course when the play is done...
Well, actually it was almost done, and I think Simon got teary-eyed because it was cutting too close to his past. But which he knew William Shakespeare, and William Shakespeare stole some of his story to put into Hamlet.
Yeah, I think that's so funny.
How rude.
Yes, so anyway, moving on. So our dear ghost...
He fades out.
He fades out, and the father still thinks it's just a matter of special effects. And
That was really great. How do you do that?
The only people who do believe that most likely this might be a real
everybody
ghost
else.
is everyone else.
Everybody else.
Her brothers, her mum, and they all think that that dear old Daddy Dearest is acting like a total jerk.
Yes, he's an idiot. I don't believe it, so it's not real.
So anyway, Virginia comforts dear old Simon, and she then remembers in this movie there's a bit of a prophecy where a gentle girl, in the story, helps the ghost try to get forgiveness from death in order to...
Someone to shed a tear.
To shed a tear.
And also to pray for him, was it?
To pray for him because he has no faith and no tears to shed.
No, he can't pray for himself. Someone's got to pray for him.
Yeah, and some kind of tree that has to bloom because for some reason...
Yes, an almond tree at the front.
Yeah.
But that's more of a signal after everything happens, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And he has to take her to the angel of death to plead for his chance of going to the afterlife.
Yeah, go to heaven or wherever we're supposed to go to. Yeah.
So they won't go through the process, and soon enough she and him go through a special magic portal behind the fireplace
in the library,
and it leads and they slowly walk into it, and they head off to the afterlife thing.
No, reminds you of Poltergeist. Over the other side.
Yes.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So anyway, next morning, everyone is wondering what happened to Virginia.
Mummy and Daddy can't find her.
Yeah, so they round a posse of people of the town, try to find her. Yama. But that night, they hear through the walls Virginia's voice, and they go to the library. They see that. They open up the portal, and they slowly try to help her get back to the life of the living stuff.
Yeah, as one would. Yeah.
And I think the father was finally convinced that what she was saying is not a lot of monkeys.
All together now, Dad, you're digging.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, eventually there was a blood stain in this.
On the carpet.
Everyone keeps cleaning it, and
it keeps coming back.
It's a very significant
that's the blood stain of his wife when she killed herself in front of the fireplace.
Yes, a very significant
Hey, that's
piece.
an old carpet. They don't make carpets that anymore, do they? 300-year-old carpet or more.
Yeah.
And it's still going strong. Yeah.
And the interesting thing in this is that Simon keeps on using paint or whatever stuff he can use to mimic that very stain.
Yeah, and to keep the stain going, but...
Yeah, but now that that things are over, the stain is gone.
Totally gone.
And the tree that we mentioned earlier in the garden is finally blooming.
The dead almond tree, and I didn't take that because it's part of the prophecy that if that blooms eventually again, it's a signal Sir Simon has passed on to the other side.
Yes, and they eventually find where Simon's bones lay, and they finally rest them again with his wife.
Virginia knew where they were because he'd been into his little... Oh, but earlier on, when she found where Sir Simon was hiding in his walled-up chamber behind the library somewhere, and she actually knew where he was residing during the daylight hours, and that's where his body had been chained up. So they went there later on. He was not home, but his bones were.
Yeah. So eventually, they organised a funeral, and they then buried his remains next to his wife.
Yeah, they had a garden out there at the back of the property somewhere.
There was a special garden that's again withered, but later on comes back to life.
The flowers all came back to nice, and the flowers bloomed, and oh, it was so nice.
Yeah, and eventually, the Lord of the Manor of the castle comes back and says that now that things are okay, that maybe their family might return back to live there. But unfortunately, the scientist, the father, says, "Do you mind if we stay here a little longer? Maybe so I can and all that stuff. And the man, the lord of the owner, was cool with this. He thought,
he likes
sure,
Liberty City
go
anyway.
ahead, you could stay there. We are happy in England. I mean
In the
London,
city,
in the city. So he's cool with them.
So you got someone in there looking after the place, paying a bit of rent money, and
and they can.
And it's actually it's sort of thanking them for releasing their ancestor. From his curse.
They're allowed to stay as long as
indefinitely. That's a long time.
And that means that dear old Virginia can get to know Francis
and possibly get married.
Yeah, in the book it did say that she did develop feelings for a certain Duke in the story, and that when they came of age, they went and got married.
Oh, went lovely.
And anyway, soon enough, that's the end of our story, and that's about it.
Well,
I wish I could tell you more, but unfortunately, if I tell you more,
but the ending was good because you said the flowers are blooming.
Yeah,
and when it was getting near the fade out, you hear Patrick Stewart, the ghost, and his beloved talking to each other.
Yeah, talking about read me another sonnet or something.
Yeah,
like another Will Shakespeare sonnet.
Another poem from Billy Shakespeare. Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
The boy's on a burning deck, and his handy held. Anyway,
actually, you were talking about Will Shakespeare to me not too long ago from Discovery Witches. I found out that Christopher Marlowe is actually inspired by dear old Will Shakespeare, and they were both born at probably about the same age.
That's what I'm saying. There's some people think that Christopher Marlowe and Shakespeare were the same guy.
I looked it up after.
No, I know what you said. I'm trying to tell you what I've heard over the years, that there's some schools of thought saying they're both the same guy. Okay, but the William Shakespeare one was known for doing a particular style of writing, but he wanted to do some other style of writing, so he used another name. Maybe they do it nowadays, having
I heard
other names, different things. But it could be two different guys, or it could be one guy with two names.
Yes.
But anyway, irrespective, old Billy Shakespeare.
Yeah.
He writes a good novel.
Anyway, Patrick Stewart is. Well, I thought he really did well in this role. I think.
He's a Shakespearean actor.
Yeah, no.
And that's when you get someone who's got. I'm not taking away from Charles Lawton, who played in the 1944 version, but he wasn't a Shakespearean actor. He was a comedian. He did a good comedy role in it. It was funny and tasteful. He had an English accent. That's about all he had. But he didn't have that Shakespearean quality about him, and that really drove this production home, as far as I'm concerned. Because if you get the right person, it's like James Bond. You got Sean Connery. Okay. English, Scottish, English, whatever mixture, whatever. And, well, that's what James Bond was. He was a naval commander in the English Navy with Scottish parentage. So, and Sean Connery was that, and he's so believable. And you get the right person playing the right part, and all of a sudden it comes to life. Yeah, but it jumps out of the book onto the celluloid, or in this case, into the computer. Yeah, interesting.
I agree.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do think this was a good TV movie. It went directly to.
Is this one still available on YouTube or eBay or anything? Or
I think it might be up there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still
popular.
A popular version.
It is probably the most popular one out of all of them. I mean, forgetting the Charles Lawton one, different type of movie, but all the other two or three movies. I mean, this is I believe the better one. So the purists want a good treat. Yes, this one I think it's still available. I haven't checked on eBay or Amazon or whatever, but I'm pretty sure it's around because we got a copy of it. So yeah.
Yeah, I read this one, and I think in a book too, and I read also the Phantom Carriage and the Monkey Paw that we often keep talking about non-stop.
We might do a couple of those funny short story ones, and we might do a bit of an anthology one day. Hey?
Maybe.
Yes, because there are some anthology type movies.
True.
England did a few. The Amicus movies, they did several, and and other ones, Vault of Horrors and different things. Dr. Sum's Garden of Terror. Yeah, all those really good, funny ones.
Yeah, but who would have thought that when you look at those books, they do well. they kind of that's probably where we all got our inspiration from.
Yeah.
Like how the guy, what's his name, who does Vincent Price movies?
Roger Corman.
Yeah, Roger Corman, when he got inspired by
Edgar
Edgar Allan Poe.
That's it. Well, it gets better. I've probably said it many, many times before. If you got a good story and a good screenwriter, you often get a good product, and all you have to worry about then is getting a director who knows what to do and some believable actors. But you get Roger Corman, when it came to doing those period movies, Edgar Allan Poe types and whatever, with Vincent Price, the mix was perfect as far as I'm concerned. When Roger Corman modernised it to try and get the teenage audience in it, involved in liking his product, I think he lost something.
Yeah, I think he did.
Because I don't think they're coming from stories anymore. I think they're coming more from a screenwriter. And that's where it sort of lost a little bit. I mean, I could be wrong there.
Well, I often believe that in each of us, or some filmmakers out there who, throughout the years, they probably they go for a damp patch.
Oh yeah, that can be true too. But
or they just see something that's makes makes it more popular. They decide to bring
he's
more.
trying to find a target market. I mean, maybe someone told him, "Oh, nobody wants Victorian tales of terror anymore."
Yeah, everyone wants nudity. Yeah.
Well, yeah, modernise it.
Yeah.
But I would. I mean, I don't know about you, but there's nothing that I like more in a movie than being taken away from my day-to-day stuff. I don't want a slasher movie taking place in a little suburban street like the one I live in. It doesn't become believable. When you take it away to, say, a dingy house somewhere in a secluded location.
But you've got to admit,
and different things. It got atmos, you see?
And you've got to admit, though, I think I hear this a lot from old directors these days. They tell me that when it comes to making a horror film or any type of film, try to make it base it in an atmosphere that you are familiar with.
Yeah, but you still have to, you're missing a point. Even in fantasy and fiction, you've got to have a sense of reality about it.
That's what I mean.
Now, if you... Let us say we went and visited a mansion and stayed there for a couple of weeks for a holiday, yeah? And you say, hey, I've got experience living in a mansion. Yeah, and you've heard some stories about different mansions. Hey, I could write a good story and a screenplay about a mansion like this, have some ghosts running around, or a mad slasher guy, or an axe murderer. But you've got some experience in your location. You can't just make it up out of your head. That's where some people
that reminds me. Yeah. You know that movie that has Vincent Price in it? What's it called? That one about the writer who goes to a mansion in England who is...
crikey. House of Dark Shadows?
Yeah,
Long Shadows?
Yeah, that's it.
A young journalist guy goes to this old mansion for a weekend to say, I'm going to write a book in a couple of days or a week or something.
Or a weekend. Anyway,
and all these people keep coming in there and disturbing him. It was all set up.
Yeah.
But we're not quite sure. I got a funny gut feeling that was his story.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
I mean,
it didn't seem like at the beginning, but at the end, I think that was his story about going to the mansion where he went to, and he wrote a story about being at the mansion and fought these characters.
And having to sort of taken a bet with his editor. I think.
Yeah, his publisher, editor, or whatever.
See, they wagered that
you couldn't write a book in a couple of days.
Or at least a week.
Or a week or something, So I'll prove it to you. He gave me the right location, he went there and he wrote the book.
Yeah, he sat there, written it, and
but it gets back to
in
atmos.
the end he added the twist ending, which adds a little bit of more an awesome twist.
But atmos is really important to get that feel across. The atmos in a book, if you can get that coming onto the screen as well. But it gets back to, that's why you have a locations manager as well. If you've got a production company, you get people going out there, we're finding places, even if you haven't been there yourself, even if the guy who wrote the book hadn't been there.
Yeah.
It's in the story, and that's a location you're looking for. Keep it real. Reality and fantasy and fiction stuff is a must. And the more real you make it, the more you take the people away and they get drawn into it.
True.
Which is great. And actually this one here, this Canterville Ghost movie, they actually did it in a real place. I don't think it was too much soundstage stuff. I think it's actually done.
Yeah, I agree.
In this castle. Where is it? I got the name of it here somewhere or other. It was Nebworth House in Hertfordshire.
Wow.
In England. That's where the filming got it. So they actually did it. They used the ruins of the castle.
I think that would be so cool, wouldn't it? I mean, to really actually rent a mansion or a castle in England and
hands up who can afford it. No,
soak up all the energy from it.
Yeah, but the point, if you went and stayed to, you guys in America and England and wherever you are, there's a place. We've got a few places here. There's a place I like to go to and stay overnight or a couple of days. Yeah. It's down in the mountains down in New South Wales. It's called Caves House. It was originally built, I'd say 100 years ago, up in the mountains where they have these limestone caves we go and do tours go through. But you can go up there and stay overnight, big roaring fires like an old style place, and they feed you. They do Christmas in July because we don't. We have Christmas in the middle of summer here, so we do Christmas in July down there, and people go down there. But it's damp sometimes, it's quiet, it gets dark. And that would be great atmos if you're going to try to write a book. And you got the right atmosphere. And there are other locations around here and other countries, especially in places like Europe, where you got all these old buildings and old towns which have been around for hundreds and hundreds of years, and you've got so much resource over there, but we don't have it. We're a new country, which does make it really hard.
Yes. Yeah. So anyway, back to our current movie we're reviewing.
Oh yeah, whatever.
So should we rate this now?
Well, okay. It's good. It didn't actually. This one didn't have to rely on special effects much, or anything, or CGIs, or maybe when he disappeared. They really had a good direction and good filming and that sort of stuff. And the acting wasn't bad. And it's not just me. They have got awards. I've got to give it a 9.5.
I'm going to give it a 9.5 too.
Because I think really some of these telly movies, even though they're not
box office stuff,
box office type material, the telly movies are obviously, well, like a little bit like you got your art house theatres. Like your Dendies over here, another place you got over in America, in England and for Europe. Which the non-mainstream stuff. This is non-mainstream stuff going to the TV, and it's really good. I mean, it's a lot of independent people do it. They say, I'm not going to follow the trend. I'm going to make something different. So it either ends up going straight to DVD, Netflix, whatever, trying to get it out there because it just doesn't fit the movie guidelines they want in commercial theatres, which is a shame because there's some damn good stuff out there.
Agreed.
It is very good stuff, but we've seen a lot of independent stuff over the years, and a lot of it's gone direct to DVD or TV and stuff.
I gotta admit, I do like the independent stuff. They do. Some people know where they're going with the story.
Yeah, because they're not afraid to do a U-turn or do something different. And they don't follow the same mix. I mean, I hate formulas. I mean, there's some of you guys out there in the movie industry, I'm talking about. We're going to do another slasher movie. Now we're going to need 6 people. We need a dumb blonde. We need a really nice, pure little one who's going to be our final girl. We're going to need 4 wacko guys. Yeah, that sort of thing. We're going to go and stay in a cabin in the woods. Done that a couple of times already. And that's sort of it's the formula doesn't change. The script changes a bit.
Yeah.
The creepy guy with the machete or the axe or whatever might change a little bit, but it's basically the same story.
Yeah, and the dumb people who make the dumbest dumb mistakes. Yeah. Which I thought in Cabin Woods they explained why they make the bad mistakes.
Yeah, but see another point. See, Cabin Woods that was a good turnaround because it was drug induced by the people underground trying to feed the monsters.
Well, actually, feed the
older gods or something or other,
the heroes or the
just keep on. Yeah, they was going to be sacrificed.
I know, but
to the guy, the old gods.
But those drug things they were given to the sacrifices to make sure that they make the wrong decisions.
I know, that's what I'm saying. But they were there. But the only one who didn't get affected was the stoner who was totally stoned all the time and the drugs didn't work on him.
Yeah, because
so it was quite funny. A bit of a twist, which is something different.
Yeah, well, they didn't know why he was immune to it.
Yeah, I mean, he's full of cannabis.
Well, maybe it wasn't cannabis.
No, he was.
Could have been.
He had a bong with him.
Yeah, I know.
He was sucking on it at the beginning of the movie, and he sucked on it several times and doing joints. He was stoned.
I know.
No, he was, and that's it. The CBD or the THC or whatever his system was counteracting the other chemicals.
Yeah, I just meant that
different.
He may have been smoking something that made him immune to any other drugs that they were introducing in the air.
I just said that.
Yeah, okay. I know. I'm just mean that whatever drugs they thought he may have, like maybe cannabis, maybe
they didn't check.
They didn't check to know.
But he was the one who got dragged into it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but irrespective,
he could have even smoked.
Was a bit different.
He could have smoked, spray cans for all I know.
Again, chroming. I don't smoke chrome.
Okay.
They don't smoke a spray can. They chrome it. They sniff it.
Chrome it. Sorry.
Yeah. They put it in a plastic bag and inhale it.
Yeah,
and go off the pixies. Now, but they said that was a twist. It was good. Something fresh.
Yeah. Anyway, so I think we're done for the.
This was a shorty. I mean, there's nothing much to talk about this one apart from it's a damn fine movie.
Yeah, other than the fact that dear old Sir Patrick Stewart has a good knowledge of doing both stage as well as movies that deal with Shakespeare stuff at first.
But I think he started. I think he's in the Elizabethan or Shakespearean troupe of actors before he got into filmmaking. Yeah,
he actually even starred in. Let me see. I think I have it right here.
Hamlet and Eggs.
Let me see. I'm just trying to find my notes here. So, according to this.
Oh, here we go.
Let me see. Sir Patrick Stewart played Claudius in Hamlet. He played. He was in Prince of Denmark and in Hamlet again in 2009.
Well, there you go then.
Well, it means that everyone knows he's very skilled, very.
But they're the movies.
Polished.
That's the movies, yeah.
I know.
But before I was saying his list of engagements on the stage would be a lot longer than that. Yeah. And that's where he got his Shakespearean type speaking voice. Same as Vincent Price got his.
True.
He had this way of speaking, and he got it from doing Shakespearean acting.
Yes.
Yes.
So anyway, I think we'll be finishing up shortly. But anyway, before we cut off or anything like that.
Before we terminate for this podcast,
I thought I might mention again about how I'm working on a documentary at the moment
about
filmmakers who are and actors who are coping during
the coronavirus.
Yeah,
and it's coming together quite nicely.
We've got like several people who contribute to videos. I'm really proud of them, and I'm really happy that so many people have gone on board.
So it's going to be feature length, is it now? Or?
Well, by the sounds of it, I think we're going to get some.
So many people involved.
Many people involved. Yeah. I'll try to remember to give everyone a turn during each topic here and there.
Whatever, yeah.
I mean, I'm trying to make sure that everyone has a turn in this production.
Well, there you go. Well, no, we don't. But you're going to do part 1 and part 2 if we get too many people?
Well, that depends on a few. I'm still waiting on a few people who confirm on their contracts. They still have to sign them and all that stuff.
Yeah, obviously.
It's important.
To give you control of the content. Yeah.
Yeah, if I don't get that, I won't.
Well, you can't. If you say you put it out there and I say I didn't sign the paperwork, so I don't like it, take it off.
Yeah.
So you got to get your waivers and everything signed.
Yeah, this is very. I don't need to mention this to you guys, but this is very important. If you want to get your interview videos out, among the documentary, I want you guys to realize that this part is really important.
Is that on your Black Cat film production site?
Yes.
Yeah, anybody who's interested in the movie industry and acting, whatever, on Sarah's site, Black Cat Film Productions.
Yes.
You have a look at that, and it'll give you some ideas on what's involved and what she's looking for and whatever. And feel free to contribute. But
I also
the cut-off date's coming beginning of. When's that? Beginning of next month?
Let me see, the 5th of March.
5th of March is cut off, and then she's going to spend the next 6 weeks, 8 weeks to post-production.
Yeah, by then I'll be working pretty much really hard.
Her bloomers off.
Exactly, so.
Anyway, guys.
So this is about it for us for today. So this is Sarah Stephenson.
And Michael. Hey, by the way, my cat's here. Hey, where are you? I was just sleeping. From Amanda as well.
Our
she's
cat.
So cute.
So you're not confused.
She's sweet. She's tired old cat. It's very hot here. It was 33 degrees and very humid today. I feel like a limp rag.
Anyway, so this is Sarah Stephenson.
And Michael Stephenson.
Saying we'll see you, hopefully we will hear from you guys later on.
Yeah, don't forget Black Cat Film Productions.
Bye.
Bye, guys.